It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look at your weather forecast. And temperatures today about 5 to 6 degrees above our normal high of 89. We could top off at around 99 this afternoon. For Tuesday, look at those temperatures throughout the week. 102 Tuesday, 103 Wednesday, and possibly all the way up to 106 degrees by Friday. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on in our broadcast. And now for a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. An update on the independent investigation on a police shooting in Wenatchee last week. We talked with Sheriff Brian Burnett about National Night Out in light of recent events. Police arrest two brothers after a shooting in Moses Lake Friday, and the Diamond Creek fire continues to grow in Northeast Washington. Later on, we'll have sports, your weather forecast, and our features story today. But first, an independent investigation continues into last Thursday night's police shooting in Wenatchee. Police identified 31-year-old Matthew Folden as the man who was killed in that shooting. Police say the name of the police officer is being withheld until a later date. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the investigation. It's being conducted by a multi-jurisdictional team headed up by the Chelan County Sheriff's Department. There are more questions than answers at this early stage of the investigation. Police allege Folden was armed with a knife and was shot after confronting the responding officer. Police also report a knife was removed as evidence from the scene.
Officers responded to a report of a man armed with a knife and screaming last night just after 10 o'clock, about 10:06 actually. Upon arrival, first officer found the man still armed with a knife in the parking lot. It's confrontational. And ended up being, the result was the suspect was shot shortly thereafter. The suspect ultimately passed at Central Washington Hospital after being transported by ambulance. And now you can see very little behind us of the crime scene team that was here about an hour ago. But the Washington State Patrol Crime Scene Response Team came and collected evidence and documented the scene for our North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit. And at this point, we are just working through the process of the case.
There are conflicting witness reports of what happened. Some claim the man was carrying a pocket knife that was folded, closed, and was shot unprovoked. Cell phone videos shared by witnesses on Facebook appear to show the man lying on the ground at the store's entrance after the shooting. Friends have described Folden as a friendly and quiet man. He is survived by his girlfriend and two children. A vigil that was planned for today has been postponed until further notice at the request of Matt Folden's family. Meanwhile, authorities ask you to contact the Chelan County Sheriff's Department with any information that might help the investigation. We are anticipating an update from the Sheriff's Office later on tonight. Chelan County Sheriff Brian Burnett says Tuesday's National Night Out event will go on as planned, but he says organizers are planning for possible demonstrations prompted by last Thursday's fatal police shooting in Wenatchee.
There has been a little bit of concern as far as National Night Out. We're just hoping that people will allow that event to move forward as it's planned to be. Especially, it's really meant for families and children to come together and be able to connect with law enforcement and emergency services for that specific day.
National Night Out is an annual event that promotes involvement in crime prevention activities, police community partnerships, and neighborhood associations. It starts at 6 p.m. at Centennial Park and includes free entertainment, kids' games, and food. Moses Lake police say two brothers were arrested early Saturday morning in connection with a shooting Friday night in Moses Lake. 21-year-old Jose Torres and his 20-year-old brother Jonathan of Royal City were taken into custody at their home on Juniper Circle in Royal City. The incident began at Apex Cannabis in Moses Lake around 7:30 Friday night when one of the Torres brothers began to fight with another male. After the men were asked to leave the store, the two suspects reportedly followed the man and his female passenger to the area of West 4th Avenue and Holly Street, where police say several rounds were fired at the victim's vehicle. One of those bullets struck the woman passenger in the back of the head. Her injury was not life-threatening. Jesus Torres was booked into Grant County Jail for assault in the first degree and unlawful possession of a firearm in the first degree, while Jonathan Torres was booked for drive-by shooting. A forest fire continues to rage in the Pasayten Wilderness in northeast Washington. The latest news of the Diamond Creek fire reports it's now grown to over 5,000 acres with 10% containment. Management say the fire has been pushed the past few days by red flag winds associated with a dry cold front. No homes are threatened and no structures have been lost. Crews last week were able to protect 2 historic U.S. Forest Service cabins. The fire is burning in the steep slopes along Diamond Creek drainage. The fire has forced the closure of some popular trails, and it's burning about 4 miles from the Billy Goat Trailhead and about 18 miles north of Mazama. Coming up, Governor Inslee visits Kashmir. We'll have a preview of tomorrow's elections, and a new business is set to open in Wenatchee. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching NCW Life News.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Governor Jay Inslee made a visit to Kashmir Friday as part of a cross-state tour urging the state legislature to pass a capital budget. I caught up with the governor at Kashmir High School.
Tell us why you're in Kashmir today.
Well, I'm really excited to be in Kashmir. This is a community that really believes in its kids. It really wants to invest in its kids. It's passed a local bond issue to really rehab and rebuild this Kashmir High School. And it's very encouraging to see a community that believes in its children. They want to invest on new STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math, make sure these kids are ready for the new high-tech future. They want to have better capability for kids with certain challenges. They want to rebuild the air conditioning system. And now we have an $11 million match from the state that's ready to go that we really want to spend here in Kashmir in the capital budget. And this capital budget funds schools all over the state of Washington, over $1 billion of school construction. So I've come here basically to urge legislators to finish the job of financing the education of our children. And they did a lot this year to provide teachers and more staffing and the like, but we need to have buildings, we need to have classrooms. So we need legislators to finish their job, do a capital budget so we can have better schools across the state of Washington, and particularly here in Kashmir.
Kashmir School Superintendent Glenn Johnson says the problem with the budget not being passed in a timely manner is the cost rates going up for their projects at the school.
Our community has unyielding commitment to our community and kids, and we take a lot of pride in our facilities, and we're really counting on this state match. And it's frustrating because as it's been delayed, I think somewhere in Olympia it's been delayed. The reality is the biggest concern isn't a 6-month wait necessarily. Really, that wouldn't be a big issue, other than the fact is that we're seeing prices escalate tremendously. We're up as much as $100 a square foot over what we were pre-bond planning 2 years ago. $100 a square foot. So my first and foremost concern is to meet what we obligated to our community and pass the bond issue on. And without the state match, if we delay this even further, we're really in a tough situation.
Kashmir passed a bond to upgrade HVAC, electrical, and mechanical systems in the building, as well as improve safety and classroom technology. Governor Inslee got a tour of Kashmir Friday to see in person the needs there. Inslee also made stops in Cedro Woolley to visit a food bank and Mount Vernon to tour an elementary school. The deadline is Tuesday to return your vote-by-mail ballots to the auditor's office for the primary election. Contested races in Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanagan counties will be whittled down to the top 2 vote-getters for the November general election. Contested seats on the Wenatchee, Eniat, and Chelan City Councils are also being voted on, as well as the Lake Chelan Community Hospital Governing Board. In Chelan County, voters will also decide the fate of 2 tax levy issues for the Chelan County Fire District 1 in Wenatchee and District 3 in Leavenworth. In Douglas County, voters will choose the top 2 candidates for an at-large position on the Eastmont School Board. Also, incumbent East Wenatchee Water District Commissioner Mike McCourt faces a challenge from John Stirk and Nick Warner. Ballots must be postmarked by August 1st, and they can either be mailed or submitted in person at the auditor's office or dropped off at a ballot collection box. A new grocery store opens this month on South Wenatchee Avenue. Cash and Carry Smart Food Service is moving into the old Staples Office Supply building on Ferry Street. Ryan Whedon with Cash and Carry Smart Food Service says the Wenatchee area was a desirable location for a new store for many reasons.
You know, when we look at new store sites, we kind of look to see what kind of competition is in the area and whether or not there's enough supply for the demand in the area. And that's one of the things that really draws us to Wenatchee is we feel it's kind of an underserved market, so to speak. There isn't a lot of our normal competition. A lot of the delivery services to businesses and that kind of thing come from a long ways away, so they tend to get even more expensive. And so we feel that we can really provide a low cost while still maintaining a very high level of quality that we're kind of known for. You know, we're really excited to be opening in Wenatchee. We've been out talking to the business customers for a while, and the feedback's been very, very good. So we're really looking forward to this opening, and we really expect good things out of Wenatchee. We're excited about the area.
Cash and Carry will also feature what it calls Click and Carry, where a customer can send in a shopping list of less than $250 by 5 p.m. and then pick up their groceries the next day by 6 a.m. The Portland, Oregon-based business is a wholesale food distributor and food service warehouse that's been operating for 60 years with over 60 stores around the western United States. You're watching NCW Life News. Coming up next, Eric Granstrom has your sports update, followed by our feature story today. That and much more still to come on NCW Life News. Stay with us.
Gather friends and family and support Youth United with Color Rush. This untimed 5K event is for all ages on Sunday, August 20th. Sign up today at colorwenatchee.com.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Monday. The 4th annual Sunburn Classic 3-on-3 basketball tournament wrapped up yesterday under sunny and hot conditions next to the Pybus Market. Here are the results. All right, we'll start it off in the co-ed 2nd and 3rd grade. The Spelem boys are the winners. Cashmere Ballers took the 3rd and 4th grade boys, while Eastmont Warriors were the winners in the girls 5th and 6th grade. 5th and 6th grade boys, Chelan, the Fab 4 7th and 8th grade winners on the girls side, locked and loaded on the boys side. High school girls just hoop it. 9th and 10th competitive boys, Nerd Alert, RE24ECT. I'm not sure what they're saying there, but high school varsity boys the winner there, and 4 brothers, the winners in the adult men competition. The Wenatchee Valley Rams season and quite possibly entire organization ended on the road Saturday in Western Washington Football Alliance playoffs. And a rematch of last year's championship, the home team was dominant as Puyallup Nation Kings blew out the Rams 51-0. Turning to baseball, Jacob Prater was 3 for 4 with 2 runs and 2 RBIs, while Adrian Vela was 3 for 4 with an RBI as Wenatchee beat Walla Walla 8-5 Sunday to take 2 out of 3 from the Sweets over the weekend in that series. Mike Townsend pitched 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 6 hits with 5 strikeouts for the victory, while Michael Spalacy worked 3 innings of 2-run ball for the save. Apple Sox have a day off today before hosting Corvallis tomorrow in the first of 3 games, the final 3 regular season games at Paul Thomas, just a half game back in the standings. Also in the West Coast League on Sunday, Yakima Valley shut out Port Angelo 8-0. Anthony Alvarado pitched a complete game 2-hit shutout for the Pippins to improve to 2-1. It was Ben down in Gresham 13-8. Bryce Rogan's grand slam home run highlighted a 5-run 7th inning for the Elks. Cowlicks got by Victoria 11-6. Dane Stankiewicz had a 2-run single, and Preston Jones a 2-run homer in a 4-run 8th inning to break open that contest. In a high-scoring affair, it was Kelowna edging Bellingham 15-14. Bell scored 3 in the top of the 9th to tie it. Then the Falcons' Taylor Wright ended it with a walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th inning. The standings, Victoria 13-9, Wenatchee a half game back at 12-9. Go Apple Sox. James Paxton became the first Mariner pitcher in franchise history to record 6 wins in a month as Seattle belted New York 9-1 yesterday at Safeco Field. Paxton pitched 6 shutout innings while striking out 8 to improve to 11-3 on the season. The left-hander finished July with a 6-0 record, a 1.37 ERA. Nelson Cruz provided all the offense needed for the day with a 3-run homer in the first, his 21st of the season. Leonis Martin added a solo home run in the second, while Ben Gamble extended his hitting streak to 16 games, going 2 for 5 with a triple, 2 runs and an RBI. Manager Scott Service said the day, however, belonged to Paxton.
A nice win today. Paxton, what a month. Wow. July, I think it's 6-0 in July, and really, kind of leading us, charging up the mountain, I guess is the best way to put it. I didn't even think he was like his best stuff-wise today. I thought he was just a tick off with his breaking pitches, but fastball was really good, got ahead in the count. He pounded the zone and, got us where we needed to go.
Service was happy to see his club turn things around during the homestand and show Seattle fans some fun baseball.
Long home run by Cruz. Leonis chipping in there. It's great to have him back and contributing. Everybody loves Leonis' personality, but you got to do it in between the lines, and so he's off to a good start. But up and down the lineup today, a lot of good at bats. Seager continues to swing the bat really well, and it's a great way to kind of end the homestand, and a lot of energy in the ballpark. I thought our fans were out. The weather was great. It's a good time to go out and enjoy baseball, and we played entertaining baseball. This homestand. So hopefully it continues here on the road trip.
That's sports news on the NCW Life Channel. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. The 4th annual Sunburn Classic 3-on-3 basketball tournament wrapped yesterday under sunny and hot conditions next to Pybus Market. NCW Life's Eric Granstrom filed this report.
It's the 4th annual Sunburn Classic here at the Pybus Market and on Worthen Street in downtown Wenatchee. And well, the Sunburn Classic living up to its reputation with sunburn-type weather this weekend, but smiles all around. I had a chance to watch some of the games as well as talk to some of the participants from far and near.
Awesome.
Yeah? Why?
Because we're just trailing through all the teams.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys taking charge this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah? So you're undefeated so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
3-0.
Dogs on 3. 1, 2, 3, dogs!
Now, another team I caught up with was a bunch of kids wearing an O on their chest like they were from Oregon for the Oregon Ducks, but I learned that, no, they're not from too far away.
I'm Luke.
I'm Gray.
Jet. Jose. Tice. Christopher. Aaron.
Aaron?
Caden.
Okay, so how have you guys done so far?
So far we are 2-0.
2-0. How about the younger guys? How are you guys doing?
1-1.
1-1. Okay, so what's the O? That's like Oregon Ducks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just the cool shirts that we decided.
Oh, cool shirts. Okay, where are you guys from?
Eastmont.
Eastmont. Okay, so are you having fun at the Sunburn Classic?
Yes, we are.
Yeah? What's your favorite part so far?
Playing 3-on-3.
Playing 3-on-3, of course. Okay, look out, guys. You guys are gonna get cut off here. All right, we gotta let you guys play basketball. So do you have a cheer or something like that for your team? No? How about 1, 2, 3 team? Okay, everybody in?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team! There we go. It's the Sunburn Classic here in Wenatchee. Tournament organizer J.D. Taylor of Elite Hoop Effects have done a remarkable job with he and his crew to get the tournament ready to go, to get the hoops set up, to get the streets ready to go. I had a chance to talk with him, and even though he was exhausted, still had a big smile on his face. J.D., how are you?
I'm tired. Having a good time, though. I'm hot, I'm sunburnt, yes, but I'm having a blast just watching all this go down. It's worth every penny, every second, every amount of energy and creative ideas that we have.
Well, let's talk about this being here at Pybus. I know you guys have done other 3-on-3s here around Apple Blossom time. I think this is the place you would need to be.
Yes, this is definitely the place. We've been building this for 3 years, and then we're in our 4th year. 3-on-3s are meant to be on the streets. It's for our city, and so we built it where we needed to build it, and now look what it's doing. I mean, Pybus Market's having a blast, and even the farmers market, those guys are probably running out of everything.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a spectacle for everybody involved, and a central location like this, it's perfect. Tell me about the amount of teams. I know you had goals and estimations. How did you turn out for this year for the tournament?
We matched last year's number to a T. We were looking for 125 to 150 teams, but reality is how well would the tournament run? We would probably run into some problems being new to the street, so it was manageable for us. So the large numbers we get that when we get the foundational pieces put in and what it's like, and we're really happy with our turnout.
So between the Farmers Market, Pybus Market, and the 3-on-3 Sunburn Classic happening here on Worthen Street in Wenatchee, this was definitely the place to be this weekend. With the Sunburn Classic in downtown Wenatchee, I'm Eric Grandstrom on the NCW Life Channel.
Thanks again, Eric. We'll be back in just a moment with a recap of today's stories and your sunburn weather forecast for north central Washington. Is your vehicle in need of a quick oil change or tune-up before hitting the road this summer? Stop by Quick Lube and Tune, the home of the good guys at 610 South Wenatchee Avenue. And now for a recap of our top stories. An independent investigation continues into last Thursday night's police shooting in Wenatchee. Police identified 31-year-old Matthew Folden as the man who was killed in that shooting. Police say the name of the police officer is being withheld until a later date. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the investigation. It's being conducted by a multi-jurisdictional team headed up by the Chelan County Sheriff's Department. There are more questions than answers at this early stage of the investigation. Police allege Folden was armed with a knife and was shot after confronting the responding officer. Police also report a knife was recovered as evidence from the scene.
Officers responded to a report of a man armed with a knife and screaming last night just after 10 o'clock, about 10:06 actually. Upon arrival, first officer found the man still armed with a knife in the parking lot. It's confrontational, and ended up being, the result was the suspect was shot shortly thereafter. The suspect ultimately passed at Central Washington Hospital after being transported by ambulance. And now you can see very little behind us of the crime scene team that was here about an hour ago. But the Washington State Patrol Crime Scene Response Team came and collected evidence and documented the scene for our North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit. And at this point, we are just working through the process of the case.
There are conflicting witness reports of what happened. Some claim the man was carrying a pocket knife that was folded closed and was shot unprovoked. Cell phone videos shared by witnesses on Facebook appear to show the man lying on the ground at the store's entrance after the shooting. Friends have described Folden as a friendly and quiet man. He's survived by his girlfriend and 2 children. A vigil that was planned for today has been postponed until further notice at the request of Matt Folden's family. Meanwhile, authorities asked you to contact the Chelan County Sheriff's Department with any information that might help the investigation. Time now to take a look at our weather forecast, and it is a scorcher out there today. Let's first take a look at our surface map. I can kind of give you an idea of what we're seeing out there. Winds right now circulating along that giant area of low pressure off the western United States coastline. The red, pinks, and purple areas on the map, yeah, that's where we're seeing the heat, all the way from southern Arizona through California and almost all of the western United States. In fact, that heat will intensify as the area of high pressure just off the coast continues to bring all of that very warm weather up from the southwest, and that will be our situation as we move into this work week. In fact, we could see record high temperatures a couple of days by the time we get into the end of next week. So here's your forecast, and we can expect very mild overnight lows once again tonight under clear skies. We'll drop down to around 71 degrees as we get into your Tuesday. Here's where the triple digits come into play. 102 for Tuesday's sunshine throughout the week. 103 our high temperature on Wednesday. 75 for a low. And check out Thursday and Friday. Thursday, sunny, 105 with 76 our low. And 106 on Friday. Once again, very mild overnight low temperatures of 76 degrees expected. And then for Saturday and Sunday, Saturday's still hot, 102 expected. And then maybe some thunderstorm activity will brew out there in the afternoon and evening on Sunday. We'll cool down, if you can call it that, to 99 degrees with a low Sunday night of 71. And keep in mind, our normal high temperature for this time of year is 89 degrees. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.